Hey guys, I thought that it would be a great time to do a story time while I have the house to myself and nobody is here. So, I am going to talk about my dating app date from hell, so to speak. I do just want to acknowledge that things could have gone a lot worse, but this was my experience. So, let's start off with the dating app. So no, it was not Tinder. It wasn't, what are the other ones? Hot or Not. It wasn't, the other ones that people use. Wasn't those. It was Plenty of Fish, otherwise known as POF. And I got really bored one night. Me and my mom were hanging out, but I hadn't had any male attention in a long time. I was talking to this guy. I wasn't with my current boyfriend at the time. We were broken up. And then the guy that I was talking to, we were also not talking either. So I was like, man, I've been in the house. I want to meet somebody and I want to go out. So I hopped on the app. I'm messaging the guys. The guys are messaging me back. And this one guy, I don't even remember his name because I just erased him after that night. But he messages me and he's like, oh, hey, what are you trying to get into tonight? And I'm like, oh, man, I'm so bored. Like, I just want to go out, hit up a bar, whatever, and chill. So he was like, okay, cool. So I get dressed and my mom, this is completely out of nowhere because I didn't forewarn my mom at all. And my mom is like, where are you going? Like, we was just hanging out. Where are you going? You're going out with somebody you don't even know at this time of night. Mother alert on 1,000. And as she should have, for good reason. I was going out with a total stranger who I didn't know. Anything could happen to me. But I went out anyway because, I just didn't care. I was in, a different mindset than I am now. It's not something that I would do in the person that I am today. But the person that I was then, I didn't give no F's. So I was like, yeah, okay, here's my address. I'll be ready at this time. So he's like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go drop off my son to my cousin's house who lives in the area over by you. And then we can go out. So he pulls up and he's like, hey, what's up? So I'm like, hey, what's up? And I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm just like, okay. So we pick a place to go. Turns out that place is closed. So we're talking amongst each other and we're like, okay, where can we go instead? So I look up some places on Instagram and I'm like, hey, let's try this place. So he's like, okay, cool. So we drive over to the place. We go inside. The place is dead, to be honest. It hasn't gotten popping. We're early. We're out earlier than the nightlife. So we go to the bar. He buys me and him a drink. It's a Blue Long Island. It was not good. I would not ever drink it again. But for the night, it was fine. It was cool. That was the drink that he suggested too. So I was like, okay, all right. So we're talking and, he's telling me how pretty I am and I'm sizing him up and he looks okay. He's not my typical type. I usually date tall, dark-skinned, black men. But he was a shorter Hispanic man, with the curly hair and the lighter skin and everything like that. And I was like, okay. And he was asking me was I Hispanic, was I Spanish or Puerto Rican, any type of Hispanic nationality. And I was just like, no. A lot of people assume that because of my complexion and my hair. I don't have it out right now. You can see the waves a little bit, but I have curly hair, but I'm 100% black, 100%. I'm not even going to say what I usually say, but I'm 100% African American. I'm black. No Spanish, Latino, nothing. So he's like, okay, yeah, that's cool, whatever. We're chopping it up. The music starts going and stuff, and people are ordering hookahs. More people are rolling in, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine, that's great. And so we're drinking our Blue Long Island and we're talking and I'm still nervous and he's warming up, so I'm warming up. And then we get to our second blue Long Island. And then I'm good after that. Like, you know, I have a limit so that I can stay alert and stay aware. And he has a third blue Long Island. And that's fine and that's cool. And we're just still talking or whatever. And he doesn't really make any moves on me or anything like that. But at this point, we're kind of enjoying each other's company. Like, we're in a vibe now or whatever. And we're talking as much as we can over the loud music. So it gets to the point where he's like, you know, what are you trying to do? Like, you want to get out of here, go someplace quiet or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. So we drive to this hotel that I'm familiar with, but all the way on Okeechobee Road. Down here, they call it the Chobe. It's like a hotel that you could rent for an hour or you can rent it for the night if you want to. And they're like sex hotels pretty much. But I knew that I wasn't going there for that. It was just like, that's the hotel that he picked. So we was going to go there and chill and whatever. But I knew how far I was going to take things that night. So, we go there and he goes and gets the room and pays for it, right? And there's this guy. So you drive to the office and then you drive to the room. And the hotel rooms, each room has a garage, park in the garage, and then you go to the room. You access the room through the garage, right? So we go pay for the room, then we go park in the garage, or then we're on our way to park into the garage, and there's this guy blocking the way or whatever. And the boy that I was out with, he had already had some drinks. So he showed me right then and there that he was one of those rowdy drunks that like confrontation and like to fight. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? The guy is in the way. He's blocking the road. So he stops his car and he's honking at the guy. He gets out and he's like, yo, 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 you know, talking to the guy all rough. Oh, what you trying to do? Blah, blah, blah. And this boy pulls out a gun. And I'm looking around like at the invisible camera like, y'all see this? Do y'all see what's going on here? I was shocked. And I was just like, wow, this is the worst possible situation that could happen on one of these dates. This is why my mom is so worried. This is her calling right now and she's ruining my video. I'm gonna have to call her back because no. So anyways, so I know that the boy is Spanish. And this is embarrassing for me, but I'm like, I'm garnering all the Spanish that I know. And I'm like, tranquilo, papi, tranquilo. Calm down, just calm down. Please don't shoot the boy, blah, blah, blah. And then he finally calms down. And the guy moves out of the way. So we drive past him and go into the garage. And he's still going off. Oh man, I want to get with that. I want to get with his program, da da da. He lucky I don't go back around there. And I'm like, relax, please. Tranquilo, tranquilo. Like, calm down. And he's drunk and irate. And I'm scared at this point because the last thing I wanted was to go out with some random person and end up being accessory to murder because he's shot someone, right? So we get into the room. And, let me back it up a little bit. These are minor details, but it's story time, so I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let y'all know. So we go to the room, and we end up locking the keys in the room somehow before we get everything we need to actually go into the room. So he has to go back to the office to get another key to let us into the room. And I had to pee really bad because I've been drinking. And for some reason, when I drink, I had to pee, like, really bad. And we was locked out of the room, and he was gone for a long time going to get that second key. I don't know if he ran into the guy he was arguing with or what, but he was taking a long time. So I peed outside. And after that, when we got back into the room, I took a bath, and then I put my clothes back on and he started throwing up. Nothing even happened. We kissed once and then after that he started throwing up. Yeah, and it was gross after that. He started throwing up. And then just when I thought he stopped throwing up, he kept throwing up. So apparently he was one that couldn't hold his liquor either. Or maybe he just hadn't eaten before we had started drinking that night. So he threw up so much. And I tried to lay with him as long as I could, and he slept like in a deep, deep sleep. And I was like, okay, I'm not about to do this all night because this isn't even what I signed up for. Like, he's not even in his right mind anymore. So at some point he had emptied all his pockets on the table and like emptied all his money out of onto the table too. And I needed to go home. So I went ahead and helped myself to one of the notes of his money. I didn't like take all of it. I didn't get greedy or anything like that because that wasn't the behavior I was on. I just needed to pay for my Uber home since he got intoxicated and couldn't drive me back home. So he was asleep, took some of the money. It was $50. I just took a 50. He had like 50s and 100s on the table. I just took $50 because I knew from where I stayed, it was going to be at least $40 for that Uber. So I called the Uber. I got my little things that I had with me and I left. And then I sent him a nice little text message saying, thank you for the time. I'm sorry, but this isn't going to work out. You got very sick and very intoxicated. I did take one of your $50 bills on the table for taxi fare, for Uber or Lyft, whatever I decided to take. Appreciate you. And you have a great life. You have a nice life. And then I blocked him because I didn't want him to try to call me or text me or explain it to me or anything like that because I never wanted to see him again after that. I was like, he's nothing but trouble. He's a little hothead and he can't hold his liquor. So after that, I went back home and my mom was just, she was happy that I was home safe. She had stayed up half the night worrying herself to death. I shared my location with her too, so she was tracking my location all night. And I'm just glad that it didn't get worse. I'm glad he wasn't a serial killer who invited me out and invited me to a hotel so he could kill me or anything like that. So thank God. But yeah, that's my dating app date from hell. That's how it went. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Guys, always be careful when you're going on dates from dating apps. I always suggest now, after my experience, doing it at a public location where there's lots of people, doing it in the daytime, driving yourself there or taking an Uber there, not letting the person pick you up, and then always having a way back home so that you're not stuck or anything like that. And try not to drink on the first date with them because I wasn't intoxicated to the point where I didn't know who I was, but he definitely was. And I could have robbed him. And, then he would have had nothing. So thank God for him that that's not the kind of person I was. But for guys and girls, don't drink past your limit so that you can stay conscious and alert and aware. And also so that you can be a good date for the person that you invited out on the date. Listen to your moms. Don't stress your moms out or worry them by going on dates with people you don't know. At least build a 2 to 3 week relationship of talking history so that there's some sort of something established. And just always be safe. Thanks. Bye.